Well, here I am at Frenchman's Cap. I've got to run a load through for a group that's gone in there doing photography this next couple of days. So I've got a load of food and camera equipment. In other words, general freight. So here I am at the car park that goes into Frenchman's Cap. It heads off down that way, the track, and in a moment I'll be crossing the Franklin. But what I wanted to show you here, there's people that are guided with me or met me on food drops and know that I talk about how the vegetation layouts and the land management systems of pre-1788, in other words before white settlement really occurred, and the way we can prove how different country was then as opposed to now. And there are many ways, and this is a very long subject, but one thing you can come to quite an easy conclusion of in this place here is, here we have the button grass, and we've got manuka here. We've also got swamp melaleuca, incarnata, one of the southern heath families. These generations are very young trees, they're not old at all. So they've more or less come since the cold fire burning management system on the button grass has stopped. The seed stocks are then moving into this country. So if people weren't manipulating this land the way they wanted it thousands of years ago, we'd already have a fully enclosed, scrubby country, probably a mixture of all sorts of trees and varieties, where once you start studying the landscape, you can pretty much come to the conclusion this was a grassy fired plain quite regularly. Want the short sharp shoots for animals to feed on. That's one of the reasons, let alone controlling fire. You cannot afford a wildfire to come through and take out vast distances of country, which is virtually like wiping all your supermarkets out in one go. You just can't allow this sort of thing. Now, what we can also see is eucalypts. And right up in the tree on the furthest horizon that you can't see, there's massive tall eucalypts that are growing above a canopy of old, not that old, probably 100 at the most year old myrtles and that sort of stuff. So the eucalypts have come first, because if the myrtles were there to begin with, the eucalypt seed wouldn't start on the forest floor and go through. So the ukes, and in most cases people sort of look at me odd when I say, when you start looking at the ukes that were in country, referring to eucalypt trees, you'll find that they're evenly spaced out magnificently. A lot of those trees that are existing there now have been hot fired, died, and the lignotuber in the tree has recovered that eucalypt, so it makes it a lot older than it actually is. Some don't recover after the hot fire they've been through, some do, not all. And we can talk about this subject for a long time, only touching tip of the iceberg all the way through. There's many things. I can look up at that hill there and soon come to the conclusion of old trees, they belonged, if we dated them, more than likely, haven't been up there to tell, but I can pretty much say from the fact I've spent a lot of time studying this, that they'll belong to the times when people were living here on this country permanently, and they would have been burning that grassy plain. And even now we can see the seed stocks of the younger generations of trees that are spreading into that country. I thought button grass came because it was more to do with the types of soils and trees that never grow there, but we are seeing the seed stocks go back through country. If we get a lightning strike on a wildfire go through there, it's so intense and hot that it'll burn off those seedlings that are growing, and it will retard the trees getting back into that country. But eventually that landscape will transform totally up there, and it's doing it here. And if you're hunting in this country, how useless is that to hunting if you're after kangaroo and things, whereas it's easier to throw spear in country